Hi, how are you today? I hope you're all doing well. It is a very rainy, cloudy, overcast day today, so the lighting is probably, I'm sitting as close to the window as I can. And actually, Tigre is literally right here. I have to show you. So I thought I would film the final Joann's haul. I know I said this before, but I can't imagine that I'd be going back there again. I was close to tears yesterday. In fact, I was tearing up and I was walking around. They have just the fabric right at the front now. And one lady had 2 shopping carts that were stacked up in the air full. And she was just buying the bolts, the whole bolts. So I can't imagine. They're supposed to be, well, I guess today would be their 7 more days that they will be open. I would imagine that they're hoping to sell the majority of the fixtures in there because there really isn't very much else. And I'm sure once she wasn't even finished collecting all this stuff that she was leaving the carts at the cutting table, because what they had yesterday was they still had 50% off on some things. I was like, what? But it was 60% off. They had 80% off of athleisure, which was really just some of that juicy couture, like a velour knit and some other not very nice stretchy knits. And they had maybe 5 or 6 bolts of that. That was 80% off. And I looked and I was like, well, maybe. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to buy anything that I truly don't really love. So I didn't get talked into that by my fantasy self thinking, yeah, you can use it, get it. So the things that I got, I actually got 2 pieces on Saturday at the other Joann's, which I'm not traveling up there anymore. That's almost an hour away. And I guess I will start with them. And then the other, I guess you would say these are not that interesting, but they are to me. I think they're amazing. They were actually in the home deck section. And one of them, now this is an upholstery ultra suede. This was 80% off. So I think it came out to, I think it was originally $24.99 if I remember right. And then it was 80% off of that. So you do the math. I don't remember offhand. It is an upholstery weight ultra suede. So it's very soft, but it's thicker because of the backing of it. And what I am intending to use this for is to make a nice coat. So I got just enough. I didn't take all of it because I really didn't need it. So I did get that. And then this one was, I think if I remember right, it was either $32 or $34.99 originally. And this is a beautiful velvet. This feels like minky fabric. If you know how soft minky fabric is, oh my gosh, this is a black velvet, also an upholstery weight. But again, this is going to be a coat. And the reason why I got both of these is because I have so many jacket and coat patterns that I have collected over the years, and I love them. And I just don't, for some reason, end up buying the fabrics to make them. So now I have 2 really nice fabrics, and I think these are just going to be so beautiful. I still cannot get over this velvet. When I wear this coat, I'm just going to be like, ooh. So I got both of those. I'm super happy that I got them. I also got a stack at that Joann's of Christmas ribbon, which I did not think that I would end up buying. I love red and green and white and all that for Christmas, but I don't decorate in that. So I usually decorate in pinks and greens, a little bit of maybe a teal or a lot of white. But that is what I got. And I had to dig around because they had a ton of ribbon. I don't know if this store just had a lot of the ribbon left over from the last Christmas, or if this was truly from like bringing it in on warehouse, whatever. I got 1, 2, 3, 5 of these rolls, and these were all 90% off. So if this was $4.99, it's what, 49 cents? So I could not give that a pass. There's 3 yards on here. And the reason why I got these colors too is not just for Christmas, because this is like, let's see if I can show you. thought I had one open. Anyway, this is a velvet ribbon and it's super soft. It's not like that stiff kind of usually cheap ribbon. It's really, really soft. So I was really happy that I got that because I can use that for all kinds of things. I could use that on hats. I could use that to make bows for different projects. I could use that even, you know, weaving maybe the bodice of a corset or something. I could use it for the lacing of a corset. So I got those. I got this big roll, which this is over 8 yards. And this was originally $12.99. And this is a wire edge ribbon. So this would be great for, you know, wreaths and cascading it down a tree, garlands and all kinds of things. I thought that was really pretty. I did get also this white one, which is a little narrower, also velvet. Oops. I got these two, which I was looking and looking and looking for more of this, but they only had these two. This was originally $9.99 and this is 3 yards. But again, this velvet is, I am such a ribbon snob and I'm really particular about the kind of ribbons that I get. This has a very, I don't know, vintage feel to it. It's so nice quality, like it's heavy, but it's soft. So I was really thrilled to have found that. And I wish that I had seen the ribbon sale before. I wasn't really paying attention. I was really just paying attention to the fabric, but that's okay. I got these and I'm very thrilled. This together would be 6 yards. So I'm glad I got those. And the last ones that I got are these green. These are each 5 yards. And this was originally $9.99, 90% off. This one has this beautiful edge to it. I just love that so much. And again, this one is slightly stiffer. It doesn't have a wire in it, but it has more, not really a taffeta, but almost like that for the backing. So it's also pretty heavy ribbon. So it's a very nice quality, which is kind of hard to find nowadays. So I got 2 of those and that concludes the ribbon. Now, in the store that's close to me that is closing, yeah, I went yesterday. That was, you know, a whole emotional thing, saying goodbye to the ladies. I know it just seems so silly to some people that there's like, oh, there's still other fabric out there. Joann's wasn't all that. It wasn't the fabric and it wasn't the store per se that I'm going to miss. Joann's was one of those emotional comfort places that I've had over the years. I've probably gone there, my gosh, I was working at, I think I said in another video, at Cloth World. That was a chain down south that was strictly like fabric and a little bit of crafting, and I think they had yarn, but it was predominantly fabric, Cloth World. And then they got bought out by Joann's, and that was before I even got pregnant with my son, and my son's going to be like 28. So that's a long time to have a connection with a store. And no matter where I've lived, I have always gone to Joann's, not only to get necessary supplies, whether it was for a project I was personally working on, a job that I had been hired to do, maybe just some new craft or new idea that I had, I wanted to go and try. You know, it's always been that. Not always like the greatest fabrics in the world, but it did serve a purpose for that. But mostly it was a place that I've gone to through the years that has just been a comfort because, you know, gone through breakups, I've gone through heartache, I've gone through major disappointments and upheavals and moving and just all kinds of things. Tea, Greg. And in just going sometimes just to walk around Joann's was like a comfort. And I'm really, really, really gonna miss that. And there still is a place that I've gone to since I was a child that thank God, is still open. That's not too far from me. And I don't know what I'll do when they close. I don't even want to think about it at all. I just have to think they're just going to be open forever. But just that's just my personal. I know so many people are experiencing their own, you know, emotional, personal feelings about the Joann's closing, and that's just mine. I've basically come to terms with it, but it's going to take a while to kind of get over, because I'm going to miss that so much. I'm going to miss just going and sitting and looking at the pattern books, because the other place that I go to doesn't have patterns anymore. And it even, you know, it's not even about the patterns. It's just the whole, I don't know, ritual of having that there as a constant when life is so, you know, unexpected and unpredictable. You know, there was always Joann's. That's all. Anyway. So this is what I got yesterday. One of the things, I got this remnant that's almost 2 yards actually, and this ended up being 46 cents. It's just a nice quality cotton, which you can always use. So had to get that. The next one is a fabric that I have been stocking since day one when they announced they're going out of business. And I saw this, and I had gotten a couple of other, I think I already shared them, fabrics that I wanted to make sure I got in case, you know, they'd sell out of stuff. And that was when they were 30% off. But this one was like a massive full bolt. For some reason, I guess nobody else liked it, which is fine for me. But as yesterday, they had 60% off. And then if you buy whatever was on the bolt without them cutting it, you get an additional 50% off, which sounds fantastic. However, there was a lot of stuff there that I just couldn't justify getting. I wasn't really in love with it. Now this I was in love with for a while, but I wasn't going to pay the price with just the 30% off. But yesterday I just got 3 yards of it, which is the minimum you can get now, and I'm fine with that. It was a little pricey. I think it was like $18 originally, so it's 60% off. Then I got this black, I don't even know what this is. It's just a silky satin, and I thought that would be pretty. I don't know, maybe a tie neck blouse. There's just a little over, I think 2 yards here. So either like a bow neck blouse, or I might have enough to do like a slip dress. So I got that, and because I got the whole bolt, I got the extra 50% off. And this one, I have to say, is I've done so well. I'm really proud of myself for the purchases I've made. But this one, this is the only frivolous one that I got, and I have no regrets because it's pretty. So I got this not satin, sequin fabric. It is sheer, so it is going to need a lining, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, I did get 4 yards of this, and this was all there was left. So I also got the 50% off, which is nice because this was originally $15. So 60% off plus the 50% off. So I wish they had more really nice fabrics left over, but they didn't, and I'm happy with what I got. I definitely am not going to need fabric for a while because I want to work my way through all of the things that I got. So this fabric, if you remember, I had gotten this in the beginning. This was 60% off on their like discounted fabrics when the sale first started. And I had originally thought I was going to put, actually, I have it right here. I had originally thought I was going to put something like this over it to kind of subdue it, because this is a lot wilder than something I would ever go for. And I thought that would be so pretty, just just coming through the lace like that and kind of make it a little more subdued. But one day I just impulsively cut this out recently, and I don't know why. I think it's just sometimes it really depends on the style of what you're making something in. So this was McCall's 8501. I've made this several times in the past when this pattern first came out. That's the version that I made, and I love it. I love it in this fabric. I'm going to show you now in the mirror. So this is the dress, and I really love it. I remember years ago when I had made this, it was one of my favorite dresses because it has some style, but it's as comfortable as wearing, like, I don't know, a t-shirt and jeans. I had done the elastic in the back at my waistline, not where it was marked at. So that was one of the mistakes that I had made in the past, that I used their marking. And this time I used it according to where my natural waistline was. So I tried it on, pinned it, and did all that. It's very easy. The only thing, as you can see, this may bother some people really badly. In the past, it's bothered me, but I decided this time, because I love the fabric so much, and I had already cut it out, like I said. Pardon me, a little scratch. I had already cut it out so quickly before I thought about it. But yeah, I mean, that's fine. I've actually seen ready-to-wear clothes on, you know, in the stores that are the same, that have, you know, that it's showing. And yes, I did use like a hot pink to serge, and I'm not going to worry about that either. The fabric was something I think I mentioned that I never would have thought that I would have liked, but for some reason with this style of dress, I don't mind it as much. Somehow this can be dressy, but it's not formal. So I can just still wear it with boots. I can wear it with sandals. I can wear it with heels. And I really like it. I'm really happy. And I am, immediately as I finish this project, I have another one, probably a couple of these in the works, because they are just so easy to wear. It's just so comfortable. So anyway, that's the story of the dress, and we'll get back to talking about the other stuff. I'm really happy with that. What else did I have to tell you? Oh, what I'm working on right now. So instead of using that lace, this lace, to go over this, I decided to make another favorite that I've made many times, is McCall's 6558, this version. It is like one of the easiest dresses to make, and I'm going to make it out of this. This is a fabric I got from Vogue Fabrics, which is online, which I'm not a big buying fabric online person, but because you have that swatch, that you can get like a book of swatches so you know exactly what the fabric feels like and looks like for real, then that is the kind of thing I'm on board for. So this is the fabric. This was actually in their clearance section, but I loved the edging of that. I loved that little scallop border. So I cut it out that the scallop will be across here and across the bottom. And I'm going to do, this will just be sheer. I'm contemplating if the bottom ruffle should be sheer, but I'm not sure yet. I'm going to see as I go along. And I am going to use this as the fabric that the lace is going to go on. So you're just going to get like a little bit of shimmer through that. And I thought that would be really pretty. Definitely a little more dressy than the cotton ones that I've made in the past. So I'm excited to do that. It's really just straight sewing almost entirely with a little bit of gathering, because you're doing the straight seams on the bodice, you're doing the straight seams on the side, you're doing the straight seams on the ruffle, you're doing straight seams on the bottom ruffle, and then you're just attaching the waist, attaching the ruffle at the top, and attaching the ruffle at the bottom. and that's a little bit of gathering. And then you really just have to put the elastic at the waist and the elastic around this part, and you're done. It is so easy. So I'm excited about that. And I think that's all the updates I have right now. Yeah, it's a rainy day. I've been doing a lot of gardening, a lot of kind of remaking the yard, where I'm digging up and trying to take over a lot of the sections that have been neglected and kind of overgrown. So there's pulling out a lot of weeds. I despise vinca vine. It is literally infested like almost every part of the yard. I despise just, what is the other things that they're cute when they bloom, but then they're really annoying. The Johnny jump ups, I think they're called. Those are annoying. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of gardening, and that's been occupying a lot of my time. But today, and I think tomorrow, and possibly in the weekend, is going to be rainy. So I'm going to be doing a lot of sewing, and I have a lot of projects to catch up on. And other than that, I love you. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me while I shared my Joann's haul, my last Joann's haul. It's going to be so strange not to post, you know, these are the patterns. This is a fabric. This is what I recently got at Joann's, but there'll be other things that happen. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I love you. I'm going to have a thrift haul actually coming up right after this, and I'm really excited to share with you. It was one of those times that you walk into the thrift store and you just find thing after thing after thing, like all in one section, almost like you're sure that it must have come from one person. And it's just the things that you were looking for. So I love you. Stay abundantly inspired and take care. Bye.